I'm now in Yamagata Prefecture, and this particularly is a place that I've been wanting to come to for years now. Unfortunately, in recent years, I think it's become overcrowded with tourists. During the day, that is. So that's why I waited out the tour buses, I came at night, and the vibe is just incredible. There's only a few people walking around, it's raining, you can see the onsen steam rising, it's just amazing.
The next part of the story requires a bit of context, as it was one of the core memories of the trip and I could have never anticipated it. So after Ginzan Onsen, I headed over to the city of Tsuruoka in western Yamagata Prefecture. I was in desperate need of a haircut, so I found a random barber with good reviews on Google Maps and I made an appointment for later that evening. What I did not know is that I would be getting more than just a fresh cut. During the haircut, we made typical, haircut small talk. So obviously van life was brought up and the barber asked me where I was staying that night. I said, I'm not sure yet, but I'd probably be staying in Tsuruoka for a few days to catch up on editing. He finished up the cut and the next appointment wasn't for another 15 minutes or so we continued chatting over some tea when he brought up that one of his clients has a vacation home on the coast that he's able to use anytime he wants, and that I may be able to use it for the next few days. Sure enough, he calls up the client and gets the okay. So for the next few days, I stayed in this gorgeous cabin on the coast, which was really nice to get editing done, workouts in, and cook with a proper kitchen. On one night, me and the barber got way too drunk over some sake and chatted over some delicious sukiyaki. And on the last morning, he brought freshly caught fish from one of his friends. He had it cut up for sashimi, he also grilled up a couple pieces and made some miso with leftover spot prawn heads that he had. We then went for a little post-breakfast walk up the hill as there were old rice terraces, he said, that made for a nice view. Like I said, this was definitely a core memory so far. I'm just blown away by the kindness and willingness to go out of his way for a stranger he just met. But I will say, I'm not sure it would have been possible if I didn't speak decent Japanese, as it's really hard to make those deeper connections with no Japanese knowledge or just basic small talk. But speaking of incredibly nice people, I mainly came to Tsuruoka to meet a local who happened to follow me while I was making my way through Tohoku, and that is Taka.
Taka, are you going to become a photographer now?
Oh yeah, this is my profession now.
Unfortunately, I lost the audio for the rest of these clips in Tsuruoka, which is a shame, so you'll have to listen to my voice a bit more. Taka brought me to a sunflower field with Ginzan looming in the distance. It was crazy to see sunflowers in November, and Ginzan had literally just gotten its first snowfall the day before, so it made for an interesting juxtaposition. Taka also helped me by being a subject so I didn't have to do my usual setting up the tripod to get in the shot, but I still did do that. Being a Tsuruoka local, Taka was also able to shed light on a lot of local history and culture, which I'll explain as we continue to explore for the day. Yamagata is probably most famously known for its religious sites, and one of the most significant is Dewa Sanzan, or the Three Mountains of Dewa. Dewa was a province created in the 8th century and eventually turned into modern-day Yamagata and Akita. The three mountains consist of Haguro-san, Gas-san, and Yudono-san. Haguro-san represents birth, Gas-san death, and Yudono-san rebirth, and are visited in this order when doing the Dewa Sanzan pilgrimage. Haguro-san was just 10 minutes away from the sunflower field, so Taka and I went to check it out. The sacred site dates back to the 10th century, and you can really feel the history of this place with the worn stone steps, which took over 20 years to build, and the towering, millennium-old cedars surrounding you. Halfway up the 2,446 stone steps is a tea house where you can rest and enjoy a beautiful view over the Shonai plains below. After some mochi, matcha, and red shiso juice, Taka and I were re-energized and ready to tackle the remainder of the stairs. Upon arriving at the top, you're greeted by a massive shrine, which boasts the thickest thatched roof in all of Japan. I had never seen anything like it. It is also said to house the deities from all three Dewa Sanzan shrines, making it the most important of the three. It's also important to note that the Dewa Sanzan are not exclusively Buddhist nor Shinto, and in fact a religion that blends aspects of both, which is rare in present-day Japan. After taking in the sacred shrine, Taka had an old friend he wanted to say hi to. In one of the souvenir shops on Haguro-san is a chihuahua named Yamato. We rested up there and were taken in by the incredibly nice lady running the shop. We made conversation and she treated us to some konjac, some persimmons, and hot chocolate. Unfortunately, she told us she's closing up shop after over a decade of doing business here. But once again, I was just amazed at her kindness, and Tsuruoka really started to develop a special place in my heart. I am now in Yamadera, which literally means mountain temple, and this is a place that was founded over 1,000 years ago, back when Yamagata was near the northern frontier of Japan's national borders. In my opinion, this is a must-see in fall. It's absolutely beautiful, but I will say up front that it is quite busy, so do be prepared for that, but I'll let you see for yourself. After visiting Yamadera, I stopped by Yamagata City as I found an awesome bouldering gym. The great thing about not working a 9 to 5 anymore is that I'm able to go to places in off-peak, and I was one of maybe 5 people there. So I got quite friendly with the staff and they were able to help me with technique and betas as I'm still a beginner boulderer.
After a tourist hotspot like Yamadera, I really felt like just escaping the crowds because I'm sick of tour buses. So I stopped by for groceries at a random grocery store on the way to my next destination yesterday, and it was getting late, so I figured, hey, I'll just find a park up here. And it turned out to be such a quaint little town, and there's so many onsen for dirt cheap. I went to one for 200 yen yesterday, and I saw one for 150 yen, which is just incredible. And the momiji are popping in this park. And in fact, I don't even know the name of this town yet. It seems it's called Nanyo in Yamagata Prefecture. And so I'm just going to enjoy a slice of countryside Yamagata today.
Interestingly enough, Nanyo is apparently known for its wine, so I stopped by one of the local wineries and picked up a bottle. Unsurprisingly, if there's a high concentration of onsens, you're also likely going to see some ashiyu.
Spotted a water fountain. Let's go check if there's still water running.
After a bit of wandering, I headed off towards the prefecture of Fukushima with one final stop along the way. This was another completely random stop that I had found on Google Maps the night before, and I picked it more because I found a quiet place to sleep. But to my surprise, it was another absolute gem.
Wow, it's gorgeous. It was pitch black when I got here yesterday, so I couldn't see anything, but man. Gotta love foot baths first thing in the morning. Oh, so nice. So the old guy you see walking in the background with his dog, he just gave me a nice recommendation. I was just saying it's a nice view, and he said, oh, there's an even better view right over there. I never would have known if we didn't just stop to converse really quickly. Foot baths in Japanese are called ashiyu. Ashi means leg or foot, and yu is hot water. And these kind of foot baths are quite common in onsen towns like this, and they're always free from what I've seen. So it's awesome if you don't have time or don't want to spend the money to go in an onsen, you can still enjoy the hot spring water of the local area you're in. All right, got a little brekkie in me, got a foot bath, change of clothes, we're good to go for the adventure. Sick! All right, so he said it's the bridge over there. I have to cross that and then go up to a shrine, and there's a nice view apparently. Might be that he's talking about. People always ask me how I find these places that I go to. Literally Google Maps, just Google Maps. I just scour Google Maps as a hobby of mine. It's crazy how much you can find just if you scroll around and click on places, and yeah.
tiny and probably half the buildings are onsens or ryokans. There were also ashiyu everywhere. To get the full experience in a town like this, it's nice to stay in a ryokan, but unfortunately I don't have money to be using on expensive accommodation at the moment, but I was still able to enjoy the vibe. And you know it's a small town when they have this sort of honor system produce market. The apples were just 100 yen, which is quite cheap for Japan, so I made sure to take this chance.
And that sums up my time in Yamagata Prefecture. I would have stayed longer, but I have to get to Chiba, which is next to Tokyo, as I have a shoot with Tourism Chiba that I'm participating in 5 days' time, so I have to keep moving. But I have to say, after visiting the last 2 towns I was in, I feel refreshed and inspired. It makes me realize that even though I have hundreds of saved pins on Google Maps, there are still so many hidden gems in Japan that are just waiting to be discovered. So it makes me just that much more excited for the future. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next adventure.